in a far distant village in Africa named Badin, where the royal family delved into the mystic arts to uncover the destinies of their newborns, there lived a king who welcomed a baby boy named Casali into the world. It was a tradition as ancient as the village itself for the king to take his son to the oracle master to glimpse the threads of his fate woven by the gods. As the oracle master peered into the swirling depths of his sacred pool, a heavy silence cloaked the room, his eyes clouded with the mysteries of the future widened in shock. King Eme's heart pounded like a war drum, each beat louder than the last. The oracle master finally spoke, his voice trembling like the leaves in a storm. This child is a vessel of immense power, bestowed with charms by the gods themselves. His destiny is shrouded in darkness and startling as thunder in a clear sky. He will kill you, his own father, and take your place beside your wife. King Emma started to murmur, his voice a low trembling whisper. How can the gods bestow such a cruel fate upon my only son? His words were heavy with disbelief and fear. My son will kill me and marry my wife. No, such an abomination will not befall my family. Desperate irration flickered in his eyes like a candle in a storm. He turned to the oracle master, his voice now a harsh command. You will speak of this prophecy to no living soul, or you will lose your head. King Ema left the oracle master, his mind a whirlwind of dread and determination. Returning to the palace, he was met by his wife Queen Noma, her eyes bright with curiosity. What news do you bring from the master? She asked, her voice light and hopeful. King Emma forced a smile, masking the turmoil within. It is just a normal destiny, he lied smoothly. Our son will become king and do great things for the village. Queen Noma's face lit up with joy, her love for the child growing deeper with each passing moment. But beneath the surface of the king's deceit, the seeds of tragedy were sown, setting the stage for a dark future. For 7 long months King Ema maintained the facade of a doting father. His actions are carefully crafted masquerade. He cradled baby Casali in his arms, his every gesture dripping with vain affection. He would whisk Casali away from Queen Noma, playing with him for hours, his laughter echoing through the palace halls. To the untrained eye, it seemed like the king's love for his son knew no bounds. But beneath this tender act lay a heart heavy with a dark and sinister plan. Each day as he held his son close, King Ema's mind churned with thoughts of the prophecy. The ominous words of the oracle master echoed in his ears like a haunting refrain. He would often find himself lost in thought, his eyes clouded with worry and dread. The king's heart was a battlefield, torn between his paternal instincts and the fear of his foretold doom. Finally, after a year, Casali reached his first birthday, a milestone marked by an easy celebration. The king approached Queen Noma, his request to carry Casali and play with him as usual seeming innocent enough. Without hesitation the queen handed over their son, her heart trusting and unknowing of the storm brewing beneath her husband's calm facade. King Ema, with Kali cradled in his arms, immediately summoned his loyal servant Diama. Together they ventured into the nearby G forest, a place of ancient mystery and tranquility reserved solely for the royal family. The forest of G, nestled by a vast unexplored sea, held secrets that no villager dared to uncover. It was a haven of peace where mystical beings and benign spirits resided, ensuring the it of the environment for the royals. On that fateful day the weather was a Perfect guise for the king's dark intentions. The sky was devoid of the harsh sun, casting a cool and gentle shade over the land. The air was crisp and refreshing, a deceptive calm before the impending storm. As they walked, the king's mind was a cauldron of sinister plans hidden behind a mask of fatherly affection. As the king, young Casali and Diamond strolled through the forest, King Eme's mind churned with sinister thoughts, searching for an excuse to be alone with his son. The presence of Daimima was merely a guise, for the king's true intent was far darker than a mere walk. He knew that venturing out alone would arouse suspicion among the chief and the royal members. Suddenly the sky betrayed them, and the sun burst forth with an almost unnatural in intensity, casting harsh, blinding rays upon them. The cool, serene weather turned into an unbearable heatwave, as if the heavens themselves were privy to the king's wicked plan. With an evil smile curling his lips, King Eme saw his opportunity. Go to the palace and bring the royal umbrella, he commanded, his voice laced with false concern. The sun is too harsh for me and my child, dear, ever loyal. Hesitated your majesty, it is not wise to remain here alone. Perhaps I should. Before he could finish, the king's voice rose in fury. Go to the palace and do as I command. Obediently Dima hurried away, leaving the king and Casali alone. The king's heart pounded with a mix of fear and resolve as he swiftly made his way to the nearby river that bordered the forest. With cold determination he lifted his innocent son and threw him into the vast unexplored sea. As the baby sank beneath the waves, the king's voice echoed with finality, over my dead body will this prophecy come to pass. Disguising his true actions, King Eme fled from the sea, his heart racing like a trapped animal's. He sprinted back to the forest, his mind a whirl of deceit and desperation. As he reached the forest's edge, he began to shout, his voice a blend of panic and urgency. Casali, Casali, his cries pierced the tranquil air, echoing through the ancient trees. From afar De heard the frantic calls and rushed back to the king's side, his face etched with concern. What is the matter, your majesty? He asked. Breathless from his sprint, the king, masking his guilt built with a facade of worry, replied, I placed my only son down here to ease myself for a moment, and when I returned he was gone. His voice trembled convincingly, his eyes wide with fainted distress. Go to the palace and call for help immediately. We must find Casali. Without a moment's hesitation, Dima turned and dashed towards the palace, his heart pounding with fear for the young prince. King Eme watched him go, a cold satisfaction mingling with his dread. The wheels of his dark plan were now set in irreversible motion. All the palace guards and villagers joined in the frantic search for Casali, combing through every inch of the forest. Their shouts and calls filled the air, but the forest remained silent, offering no clue to the boy's whereabouts. To divert any suspicion from himself, King Eme issued a drastic order: cut down the forest tree by tree. If you must, we must find my son. His voice was resolute, but a hint of desperation underlined his command. The chief, a wise and cautious man, stepped forward, his face creased with concern. Your Majesty, what of the mysterious beings and benign spirits that dwell in this forest? They will be rendered homeless and might bring their wrath upon our village. The king's eyes hardened, his patience. One thing I do not care, do as I say. His words were final, brooking no argument. Reluctantly the villagers and guards set to work. Their axes biting into the ancient trees there. Forest that once stood as a sanctuary of peace and mystery was reduced to a desolate wasteland. The benign spirits and mysterious beings, now homeless and displaced, fled the village, their silent departure a harbinger of ominous times ahead. After a month of relentless searching, hope began to neither. Villagers and palace guards, weary and disheartened, started to believe that Casali had been taken by a malevolent spirit or a monstrous creature lurking in the depths of the forest. Whispers of the boy's tragic fate spread through the village like wildfire, saw seeds of sorrow and resignation. In their desperation, they turned to the oracle master, seeking the truth that only he could reveal. However, the oracle master was entangled in the king's web of deceit. He knew the grim reality, but was bound by the king's threat. As the villagers and chiefs gathered around him, their eyes pleading for answers, the oracle master wore a tale of darkness. The child he began gone, his voice heavy with feigned sorrow, was taken by a dark spirit that haunts the forest. Such spirits are beyond our power to retrieve. We must accept this loss and move forward. The villagers murmured in despair, their last flicker of hope extinguished by the oracle master's words. King Emma stood among them, his face a mask of shared grief, though inside he was a tumult of conflicted emotions. The lie now set in stone weighed heavily on his conscience, but he dared not reveal the terrible truth. However, Casali, a child imbued with the powerful charms of the gods, did not succumb to the depths of the sea so easily. The prophecy, an unyielding thread of fate, would not be severed. As he sank beneath the waves, the divine protection bestowed upon him sparked into action, keeping him safe until a kind soul could rescue him in a distant village far from the reach of Badin. A fisherman named Kola cast his nets into the sea. His sharp eyes caught sight of something unusual, a small bundle bobbing among the waves. With swift and practiced hands, Kola pulled the child from the water. Marveling at the miraculous discovery, he named the boy Casali, unaware of the child's royal blood and the dark prophecy that clung to his destiny. Kola already had a son, Oka, who was 10 years old when he brought Casali into their home. Oka, 6 years older than the infant. Casali watched with curiosity as his father cared for the mysterious child found at sea. Little did they know that Casali's arrival would weave their fates together in ways they could not yet imagine. 20 years passed, and the once infant Casali grew into a formidable young man, his every step echoing the strength bestowed upon him by the gods. Yet within the humble home of the fisherman a storm of envy brooded. Now a man himself could not conceal the bitterness that gwed at his heart. He watched with smoldering jealousy as Kola lavished Casali with love and care, treating him with a special kindness that Oka felt he deserved. Oka's resentment was a shadow that darkened his everything. Thought he knew the truth of Casali's origin, that his father had pulled him from the sea and brought him into their home. This knowledge fest like a wound, making Oka view Casali not as a brother but as an interloper who had stolen his father's affection. Though Casali's temper was fiery, a volatile mix of divine power and human emotion, he was also kind and helpful, a gentle giant to those who earned his trust. As Kali matured, his strength and fortitude grew. He became a man of incredible power, his abilities a testament to the gods who had marked him for greatness. Unbeknownst to him, the prophecy that had once condemned his family still loomed over his life like a dark cloud. Casali did not know he was adopted to him. Kola was his true father and Oka his brother. One fateful day Kola the fisherman passed away while casting his nets into the sea. His lifeline finally cut. The village mourned the loss of a good man. But a darker tale was unfolding within Kola's family as his possessions were divided. Casali was stunned to find himself excluded. Seizing the moment, revealed the secret that had long festered in his heart. Casali is not one of us, he declared, his voice filled with venom. He was found in the sea and brought here by my father. He has no right to our family's property. Casali, struck by the revelation, felt a tempest of emotions. While within him betrayal, anger and sorrow clashed violently as the truth of his origins shattered the life he had known. Casali was stunned and heartbroken, the weight of the revelation crushing him like a tidal wave. For more than 20 years he had lived a lie, unaware of his true origins. The betrayal glared at him, each moment a bitter reminder of the trust that had been shattered. Consumed by anger and confusion, he sought out the oracle master in their village, desperate